Want to speak real Afrikaans from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at afrikaanspod101.com.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. It's pretty straightforward. It's a greeting. It's what you say to everyone. It sounds the same as most languages, so it's an easy one to remember.
Goeiemôre. Goeiemôre. Good morning.
Goeiemôre. Good morning. So this one's a little bit hard because it's got the ch sound, but in the morning we're all feeling ugh anyway, so it's a great time to use this. Practice it next time you wake up in the morning and say hello to whoever you see the first thing in the morning and just say goeiemôre.
Goeiemiddag. Goeiemiddag. Good afternoon.
Goeiemiddag. Good afternoon. So it's very similar to goeiemôre. This time you're changing the second word to middag, adding an extra in there because now by middag time the day's hard and all you want is some lunch. So you're adding mochs in there and just saying goeiemiddag as if it's angry, but try to say it with a smile and then it's even nicer. Goeiemiddag.
Goeienacht. Goeienacht. Good night.
Goeienacht. Good night. So that's what you say before you go to bed, obviously. And by now, you're thinking of the dreams that you might have tonight or the comfy warm bed that you're going to in a cold winter's day. Not like today, obviously, but it's something that everyone wants to hear. It's nice to say it to the people around you before going to bed, like end your day on a nice, calm note by telling everyone around you, goeienacht.
Wat is jou naam? Wat is jou naam? What is your name?
Wat is jou naam? What's your name? So this is obviously the one that you want to know when you're going out in a new place, especially in South Africa or anywhere where you know there's Afrikaans people and you want to know who they are, know more about them. So it's always an easy icebreaker. Wat is jou naam? Get to know their name. Try to think of a way that you'll remember it by making up little anagrams in your head or whatever. It's what I usually do because I'm very bad at remembering names. But definitely a useful phrase to know.
Ek is Christine. Ek is Christine. I'm Christine.
And then if they ask you that question or if you've just asked that question, the likely response is Ek is naam. I am name. So you'd insert your name. Obviously, you wouldn't say Ek is naam. I would say Ek is Christine. I am Christine. So pretty simple response. Wat is jou naam? Ek is, and then say your name. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Aangename kennis. Aangename kennis. Nice to meet you.
Aangename kennis. Aangename kennis. Nice to meet you. So now you've said hello, you've said goeiemôre, goeiemiddag, goeienacht, whatever time of day it is. You've asked them what their name is, you've told them what your name is, so now you're saying it's nice to meet you. Aangename kennis. It's a simple conversation going on here, so it's very important to know all these little phrases.
Hoe gaan dit met jou? Hoe gaan dit met jou? How are you?
Hoe gaan dit met jou? How are you? So now in the conversation, you're at that part where you've realized that they have a cool name, they seem pretty cool, and you want to know a little bit more about them. So you ask them, hoe gaan dit? And then remember to listen, because people always say this and then don't listen to the response or don't really care about the response. Only ask these things if you care, because it's way nicer that way.
Goed, dankie. En met jou? Goed, dankie. En met jou? I'm fine, thanks. And you?
And then the typical response, or hopefully the response because it's positive. Goed, dankie. En met jou? Goed, dankie. En met jou? I'm fine, thanks. And you? So that obviously follows the previous one, answering how you are doing and then asking back to the person, because that's only polite. You don't want to be like, yeah, I'm fine, thanks, bye. You want to be polite, ask them how they're doing back if they asked it first. Otherwise, maybe don't say it if you asked it first, because then it's just like a continuous cycle that's never ending.
Asseblief. Asseblief. Please.
Asseblief. Please. Very popular in South Africa because we're all very polite people here. But please remember, see, I said it there again. Please remember to be polite when you're asking for something or commenting on something that requires a please. No, it'll be a question. So be polite, remember your manners, and say asseblief if you are looking for something.
Dankie. Dankie. Thank you.
Dankie. Thank you. So there we go again with the politeness. Be very kind and warm when someone tells you something or compliments you or gives you an answer to that asseblief question that you just asked. Say thanks, say dankie. And if you can't remember the word, think of a donkey. That's how I always used to tell people. And then just change the sound a little bit, because you can't say donkey, you must say dankie.
Jy is welkom. Jy is welkom. You're welcome.
Jy is welkom. You're welcome. So that's the response. If someone said dankie to you, you're obviously going to say you're welcome. Jy is welkom. Because it wasn't such a schlep for you to tell them what they wanted and you don't mind telling them. So jy is welkom.
Ja. Ja. Yes.
Ja. Yes. Pretty straightforward. Yes. Positive response to something. So pretty easy.
Nee. Nee. No.
Nee. No. Also pretty straightforward, but try not to use it so much because it's going to be a downer on anyone, unless it's something definitely that needs a no for a response. But ja and nee, pretty easygoing, used quite often, so good ones to remember.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. It's very simple because it's the same as the English and most other languages, just like I said, hello. Okay means, yeah, sure, okay, we'll do this, or okay, I'll have that for lunch, or okay, you make the plans. It's used every day in so many different ways, so it's easy to remember, okay.
Verskoon my. Verskoon my. Excuse me.
Verskoon my. Excuse me. This is a part of that politeness again. If you are leaving the table or you're walking away from something because you don't really like the conversation going on, you just politely say, verskoon my, asseblief as well if you want to be even more nice, even nicer.
Ek is jammer. Ek is jammer. I'm sorry.
Ek is jammer. I'm sorry. So unfortunately this one means you've done something wrong or you've said something that's not so polite. But just be a human being and say sorry if a sorry is needed. And then remember, ek is jammer.
Hoe laat is dit? Hoe laat is dit? What time is it?
Hoe laat is dit? What's the time? This is funny. The translation isn't exactly what's the time, but that's how we say it here in South Africa. You literally say, how late is it? Because you're always late for something, or you're always thinking it's later than it is. So try to remember it that way. We're always late, so that's why we say, hoe laat is dit? Like, how late is it?
Waar is die badkamer? Waar is die badkamer? Where is the restroom?
Waar is die badkamer? Where is the restroom? This one you'll probably use when you're out at the restaurants or at a random friend's house that you've never been to before and you really need a wee. So you're going to be needing this one. So remember, waar is die badkamer?
Wag 'n bietjie. Wag 'n bietjie. Wait a moment.
Wag 'n bietjie. Wait a moment. You're a little bit busy in a conversation and someone comes and chirps in and all you want to say is just hold on. So if you ever in these situations and you have friends that like to interrupt you, then maybe you should learn wag 'n bietjie. And you could always add asseblief as well if you don't want to sound too rude and like cut offy. You can say wag 'n bietjie, asseblief.
Hoeveel kos dit? Hoeveel kos dit? How much is this?
Hoeveel kost dit? How much is this? Now you're in the shops. So you've been to the restaurants, you've been to friends' house, you've been everywhere, and now you're in the shops and you're seeing this beautiful new thing that you really want to buy, but you know, you're on holiday, so you can't just be splurging money everywhere. So you're going to have to ask this question quite often. Hoeveel kost dit?
Help. Help. Help.
Help. Help. Luckily, this word, because it has so much going on and it's obviously urgent, is usually the same in most languages, so it's pretty straightforward if you know English. Help sounds the same in Afrikaans and is used in the same way.
Sien jou later. Sien jou later. See you later.
Sien jou later. See you later. You finish at the restaurant, you're going home, or at the shops or whatever, and you're saying, ciao, I'm going to see you later. Sien jou later. Obviously one to use all the time, comes alongside a goodbye, so remember, sien jou later. And maybe I'll sien jou later in some of the other videos.
Tot ziens. Tot ziens. Goodbye.
Tot ziens. Goodbye. Directly translated, tot ziens means until I see you again, which is quite nice because you're always assuming that a goodbye isn't a bad bye and you will reconnect again at some point. So tot ziens means until next time, but it actually means goodbye.
Ek weet nie. Ek weet nie. I don't know.
Ek weet nie. I don't know. It's okay to not know. We don't all know everything, so this is a good one to know. If someone asks you a question or asks you directions and you don't know because you're just a tourist here, remember to say, ek weet nie. I use this all the time and it irritates my friends, but I'm honest at least, so ek weet nie. Jy lyk goed vandag. You look good today. Jy lyk goed vandag. You look good today. What's that? Oh, thanks. I just assume that you return the compliment, but it's always something that we really like to hear, especially if it's coming from that person that we've got our eye on. But it's also just nice to tell people, if you walk past someone and you think they're looking good, let them know that they look like goed vandag, because it's always nice to make someone else's day. Ek mis jou. I miss you. Ek mis jou. I miss you. Long lost friends, long lost lovers, parents in different countries, whatever. Today's world, we're all over the globe. Our friends live in China. Our brother lives in England. Today, it's really common to know people that live really, really far away from us. And it's nice to sometimes receive a message saying, oh, they miss you. But it's also really nice to send a message to let someone know that you miss them. So get that phone out, think about that friend, and let them know, ek mis jou. Jy het 'n goeie werk gedoen. You did a great job. Jy het 'n goeie werk gedoen. You did a great job. That's always the best one you want to hear at school or at work, because it means that you're on the right track, you're doing something good, and at the end of the day, you might get rewarded. Daar sal 'n bonus aan die einde van die maand wees. There will be a bonus at the end of the month. Daar sal 'n bonus aan die einde van die maand wees. There will be a bonus at the end of the month. If, like I said before, jy doen goeie werk, then maybe, just maybe, if you're lucky, it means you're going to get that bonus at the end of the month and you can go on that extra long Christmas holiday this year. So, keep up the goeie werk. Jy is 'n uitstekende kok. You're an excellent cook. Jy is 'n uitstekende kok. You're an excellent cook. Now, that's one that you want to say for when your parents come over for dinner for the first time in your new flat, or you're inviting that boy over that you've had your eye on, and you're cooking them a fancy dinner, and it's the first time that you're using this new saucepan you bought yesterday, and they tell you that, and just, what a relief. The food was great. The guy thinks it's great, or your parents think it's great. Anyone is happy to know that their food is good because it means that you're going to get to enjoy it the most because you get to have your food every night. Vat 'n breek, ek sal vandag skoonmaak. Take a break, I'll do the cleaning today. Vat 'n breek, ek sal vandag skoonmaak. Take a break, I'll do the cleaning today. That's the best to hear from your partner or your parents or your flatmate. What a great day it is when you get to just lounge on the sofa, watch some TV, catch up on those sports, do anything you want, even some painting or crafting. If you don't have to do the cleaning up, make a mess. No jokes, be nice, because next time it is your turn and then you're going to have to clean up someone else's mess. So just enjoy the day off. Enjoy it when someone tells you that they'll be doing the cleaning, because next minute it'll be your turn again. En jy wen, and you win. En jy wen, and you win. Whatever you're doing, whether it's Saturday night and you're playing board games or you're playing card games on the beach with some friends, it's always a great one to hear that you're the winner, because it means that you did your best and you won. So you've earned it. Jy was reg. You were right. Jy was reg. You were right. You won that argument. You were right when you said that this was the case and they said that was the case. It's such a nice feeling. You get all bubbly inside when someone you've been arguing with or just made a point tells you that you were right. It's like the I told you so, and it's the best feeling ever. Who doesn't love that? Ek het jou iets besonders gebring. I brought you something special. Ek het jou iets besonders gebring. I brought you something special. What an exciting thing to hear. You've just come home, you've had a really long day and your friend's coming over and they tell you that they bought you something besonders. How exciting. Open it up straight away and just remember, if you don't like it, still look surprised because they think it's besonders. Die begroting is onbeperk. The budget is unlimited. Die begroting is onbeperk. The budget is unlimited. You've got an unlimited budget, an onbeperkte begroting, to do whatever you want to make this party, this function, this shebang the best one there is, because you've got everything you need. You can get anything you want. Go crazy and enjoy it while it lasts, because it doesn't come around often. Dankie, maar ek is eintlik nie 'n moedertaalspreker nie. Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker actually. Dankie, maar ek is eintlik nie 'n moedertaalspreker nie. Dankie, maar ek is eintlik nie 'n moedertaalspreker nie. Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker, actually. So that's the perfect one, because it's a little bit of a contradiction. You're going like, I'm not a mother language person, but you're saying it in such good Afrikaans that they're like, but is she not, is he not, what? So it's always a good one to remember, especially if you want to just like back chat a compliment, because we're all a little bit awkward when people give us compliments. So it's a great one to learn. Dit het my net 1 jaar gevat om vlot te praat. It took me only 1 year to become fluent. Dit het my net 1 jaar gevat om vlot te praat. Dit het my net 1 jaar gevat om vlot te praat. It took me only 1 year to become fluent. Well, if that's the case, then congratulations, because it's actually really hard to become fluent in a language, especially if we haven't been learning since we were very little. And people always say it takes much longer to learn a language when you're a bit older. But I guess if you immerse yourself in the country, in the language, and you go stay there and only speak that to the locals and see how they react to you, it could only take a year. And if that's you, congratulations, it's really well done. Ek sal Afrikaans soos mense wat Afrikaans as moedertaal praat in 3 jaar kan praat. I'll speak Afrikaans like a native speaker in 3 years. Ek sal Afrikaans soos mense wat Afrikaans as moedertaal praat in 3 jaar kan praat. Ek sal Afrikaans soos mense wat Afrikaans as moedertaal praat in 3 jaar kan praat. I'll speak Afrikaans like a native in 3 years. So like I just said, if it didn't take you a year, don't worry, you're quite normal. If it takes you 3 years, even that's quite great to sound like a native speaker. But the point is that there's no timeline for learning a language because I believe that you'll always continue learning. Even I'm fluent in Afrikaans, but that doesn't mean I'm still learning every day. There's always words think about your own language, your mother tongue, and think about the last time you learned a new word. And then if you can't remember it, why don't you just go into a dictionary and just open the page randomly and find a word? And I bet you'll find at least one word that you haven't known before. So even if you can speak it like a native in 3 years or be fluent in 1 year, don't stop. Just keep learning because we can always just keep going up.
Ek leer al Afrikaans vir 10 jaar. I've been learning Afrikaans for 10 years.
Ek leer al Afrikaans vir 10 jaar. Ek leer al Afrikaans vir 10 jaar. I've been learning Afrikaans for 10 years. Well, there we go. Even longer. I mean, like I just said, it takes a lifetime to really fully understand a language usually. And I don't actually believe anyone really does. So if you just keep going, persevering, and keep improving every day, just learn new vocabulary, watch a movie in the language, and try pick up on different sayings or little colloquialisms. If it takes you 1 year, 3 years, or if you've been learning for 10 jaar, great, keep going. I'm loving the perseverance.
Ek kan Afrikaanse flieks kyk sonder onderskrifte. I can watch Afrikaans movies without subtitles.
Ek kan Afrikaanse flieks kyk sonder onderskrifte. Ek kan Afrikaanse flieks kyk sonder onderskrifte. I can watch Afrikaans movies without subtitles. Well, that's really, really impressive. I remember the first time I learned a foreign language and I watched a movie in the language, and I always had to read the subtitles to really understand what was going on. And then this one time there was no subtitles, but I really wanted to watch the movie. So I was like, oh, okay, Christine, just do it, just watch it. And I could kind of follow it and like catch the gist of the scenes. And I was like, wow, I've made it. So if you can watch an Afrikaans movie without onderskrifte, congratulations. Let us know in the comments so we can all congratulate you. Well done.
Ek kan omtrent 50 woorde in Afrikaans 'n dag memoriseer. I can memorize around 50 new Afrikaans words a day.
Ek kan omtrent 50 woorde in Afrikaans 'n dag memoriseer. Ek kan omtrent 50 woorde in Afrikaans 'n dag memoriseer. I can memorize around 50 new Afrikaans words a day. Well, then you're a genius. Like, that's a lot of words. If you can do that, maybe change the number if you want to remember the sentence for a friend. Or if you're hanging out with some local Afrikaans speaking people and you want to just impress them a little bit, like, go for it. But 50 is quite a lot and it probably takes a lot of practicing. But if you can do that, that's awesome. Like I said before, it's really great if you can learn new vocabulary every day and then also try to use them in the next day's speech. Like memoriseer. It's a nice word to say. I like it a lot. So I'm going to try say it a lot today and probably annoy the people around me. But like doing that, it's quite fun because then the people around you also start remembering that word and they can help you learn even faster.
Ek leer Afrikaans op my eie. I'm learning Afrikaans all by myself.
Ek leer Afrikaans op my eie. Ek leer Afrikaans op my eie. I'm learning Afrikaans all by myself. Oh, well, congratulations. It's really good. I mean, if you're learning Afrikaans all by yourself, it means you're really, really motivated, which is obviously awesome. And you can't really say that because you're learning it with us, afrikaanspod101.com. So even if you're learning it op jou eie, it's really great, but try find a little community where you know other people who are doing it as well, because that way you can practice with them, share stories, share experiences. I mean, it's always really nice when you're really struggling to pronounce a word or something and then someone else comes and they're like, oh, I could never pronounce this word, but then I found out that you can just do this and whatever with your mouth, and voila, now they can say it. So it's always nice to learn little tips from other people. But if you are learning op jou eie on your own, it's okay. Like, it's really great just learning in the first place. So enjoy.
Ek verstaan alles wat jy gesê het. I completely understood everything you said.
Ek verstaan alles wat jy gesê het. Ek verstaan alles wat jy
gesê het. I completely understood everything you said. This is the best one to learn out of all of these. If you pinpoint this one and remember it, it's such a great one. It makes you have such a little internal giggle sometimes. It's such a nice thing when you know a language that the people around you don't know, but your friends with you do know, and you can like gossip a little bit, or you can be like, oh, let's do this tonight or whatever, and everyone around you doesn't know what you're saying. But the funniest thing is when someone else is doing that about you, but you can understand their language, and then you just look at them and you go, ek verstaan alles wat jy gesê het. And then they'll be like, sorry, like, we didn't mean to gossip. We didn't mean to say that your shoes aren't that great, or that your hair is looking a bit funny, or whatever. I don't know, whatever they were saying. Saying that, back-chatting that way in their own language will give them a little bit of a shock and hopefully not make them say bad things about other people. Which is not what I meant when I said it's good to know the language that other people don't know. I just meant like it's fun to play tricks on your friends and stuff, but it's not nice to say bad things. So don't do that. But come back with that if people do that. Ek kan dit in Afrikaans vertaal. I can translate that in Afrikaans.
Ek kan dit in Afrikaans vertaal. Ek kan dit in Afrikaans vertaal. I can translate that in Afrikaans. This one's also super useful. I mean, if you're in South Africa or any other language any other country where they speak Afrikaans, it's such a nice thing. Say now you're on an airport and there's someone that really doesn't understand English or another language that you possibly do understand. You can just, step in, give a little helping hand, even to a stranger, and just be like, ek kan dit in Afrikaans vertaal, and translate it to them in Afrikaans so that they can make their day a bit nicer, their journey a bit easier, and you just feel great because you've done something, you've used your Afrikaans in a positive way, and you've practiced a little bit with a local and helped them. So, yeah.
Ek is mal oor Afrikaans. I'm crazy about Afrikaans.
Ek is mal oor Afrikaans. Ek is mal oor Afrikaans. I'm crazy about Afrikaans. This is such a fun one because when you are practicing and you say to your Afrikaans friends like, I have been learning a little bit of Afrikaans, this is what I can say so far, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, but that's really weird. Why did you decide to do Afrikaans? And you can be like, because ek is mal oor Afrikaans. And they'll be like, oh, ha, 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 that's very funny that you can answer back in Afrikaans. And they'll be very impressed with you. Not just because you can answer them back in Afrikaans, but also because you are crazy about their language. Who doesn't love to hear that?
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.